Today, we are shining a light on everything you need to know about the game's brightest new addition, the copper bulb. We're going to start off by sparking your creativity with what this shiny new block is. Then forge ahead into crafting these luminous wonders, and we'll illuminate multiple ways that these can brighten your Minecraft experience. So here we are inside of Minecraft, and this is the brand new copper bulb. This is a new light source and redstone component that has been added into Minecraft, and it'll be in Minecraft 1.21. How do you craft it? Well, it's pretty simple. You need 3 copper blocks, a single blaze rod, and a redstone dust. When you put those into a crafting table, that will actually craft you 4 copper bulbs, which is pretty good because 3 copper blocks, that's 9 copper ingots each, so it does use an awful lot of copper to make. When you craft this, you can actually craft the copper in any oxidation state. So if you want this to be a weathered copper bulb, you can just use weathered copper in your crafting recipe. You do have to stick to the same type of aging. So like if I use weathered copper and exposed copper, that won't work. You'll have to stick to just a single type of copper aging. The ages have to be the same. Here are the 8 different textures of the copper bulb, and I say 8, and I am only looking at 4 blocks, and that's because each one of them technically has a different look to them when they're turned on. See what I did there? Because of how the copper bulb's redstone works, which we're gonna get to in just a second, there is basically an on state and an off state for each one of the textures. So like each texture has an on and an off, and I don't need redstone to power it, so I could just use this block in either state in my build. If you're unfamiliar how copper ages up, this is called oxidation level, and there are 4 different versions. You'll see this is true with all of the copper items, but you have just your normal item. Then your first aging is called exposed, the next one is weathered, and the final one is oxidized. I want you to pay close attention to the textures on these lit copper bulbs, because the one that is, the least aged, see how the yellow is a different yellow, and as you aim down the texture here, they get more and more yellowish, and honestly darker and darker. And that is because the light level changes with the oxidation state of the copper bulb. We're in this super dark cave right here, and you can see this fully oxidized copper bulb. It's not putting out a lot of light. With any of the copper oxidation, you can scrape it off with just a simple axe. So I have a stone axe. I'm gonna scrape off the oxidation, and you can see the little particles on it. Well, it actually got brighter. So this lamp actually produces more light now. Pay close attention as I scrape it off again. Even more light, a lot more light, in fact. And then the final one is the most light. So all you have to do is use an axe to scrape off the oxidation. If you're worried about your copper bulbs becoming aged and gaining oxidation and losing light level, and you don't want that to happen, use a honeycomb on the bulb, and then that'll wax it, and now it will not age. It'll stay exactly how it is. If you want it to take over its natural aging, again, you can scrape off the wax with a axe. So you can see that the honeycomb sort of adds yellow particles, and then white particles appear when you take that wax off. Redstone. Let's talk a little bit about the redstone when it comes to the copper bulb. It works very differently than the redstone lamp. We've had the redstone lamp in Minecraft for forever, but as you'll notice with this demonstration, if I use a lever and turn on a redstone signal, and I do that for both the bulb and the lamp turn on. But when I turn the lever off, this is where the behaviors start to differentiate. So I'll turn off the lever for the bulb, but the bulb will not turn off. That is different behavior than the lamp, where the lamp does turn off. Well, what's going on here? The copper bulb is activated by a redstone pulse, and the redstone lamp is only activated by a redstone current. So there needs to be a constant redstone source in order to light a redstone lamp and the copper bulb just needs a single pulse. So you'll notice every time I turn on the redstone line, that's when it changes, which is different than the redstone lamp. Because of this, the copper bulb acts a little bit like a T flip-flop, where, well, it is. It doesn't, it's not a little bit. It is. It works like a T flip-flop. Who am I kidding? Now, I know most of you are saying to yourself, a T flip-a what? Okay, I don't know whatever you just said. All it means is that a button can act like a switch. In this super simple example that I have in front of me, the button, if we click it just one time, the redstone piston will stay extended. And if we click it one more time, it will turn off. Where in any other situation, if we had just a button and a piston like this, whenever I hit the button, the piston would stay extended as long as the button was pressed down, but it doesn't work like a switch does. A switch will keep the piston extended as long as it's on, and then when it turns off, the redstone piston will come back down. I don't know why I'm calling it a redstone piston, but the piston will come back down. And if we use a copper bulb with a comparator, because the copper bulb stays lit, the comparator stays on, and therefore the piston stays extended. Here's a practical use of that situation. Instead of using a lever here, we are using the copper bulb with a comparator to continue a redstone chain to open up a piston door. So in this, we don't need to use a lever. We can just use a button and a copper bulb, which is really, really cool. By the way, if you want to hide the copper bulb, you can. In this example, I've switched the stone button for a wood button, so it's easier to see. But instead of the copper bulb is just sitting there so you can easily see it, now it's just a button. A redstone line goes to the copper bulb, but the same behavior exists. So we push the button and the piston door stays open, where if we didn't have the copper bulb in the line and we hit the button, the piston would only stay open as long as the button was being pressed down, which isn't long enough. So adding that copper bulb back into the mix allows us to hit that button one time and have the door stay open so we can move through it. And all you need is a comparator to tell what the copper bulb is doing. When it's turned off, the comparator is also turned off. When the copper bulb is turned on, then the comparator is also turned on. When that comparator is turned on, it is outputting redstone. So that's how that behavior works. If you want to know more about what a copper bulb can do, I have a video coming out very, very soon with a whole bunch of different ways to use the copper bulb in your builds. The copper bulb is literally changing how redstone works. It is a literal game changer. You know what also is a game changer? Becoming a YouTube member. If you are a member of my channel right now, you get access to exclusive videos. This week, we are going to go back and play the first version of Minecraft I ever played. That's Alpha 1.2.0. It's only for YouTube members, so join right now to get access to these exclusive videos. And I'll be making more content every week. The copper bulb isn't just about technical uses though. It can be used creatively. In this example, I have an abandoned mine shaft, and instead of lighting it with torches, we kind of went for a more spooky vibe. We have a few copper bulbs around. This is the weathered version, so it's outputting actually a little bit more light than this fully oxidized version. Like, there's like so little light being produced from these, but they give a much creepier, sort of subtle ambiance in this area compared to a full bright copper bulb, which is down here. You can see that's quite a lot of light coming from this area. That's because it is a non-weathered copper bulb. It's putting out so much light. Compare that to sort of the small amount of light around these. I think you can get very creative with how you play with limited amounts of light to make different types of scenes. And that is about it for the copper bulb. Honestly, the basicness of the copper bulb is what makes it so approachable, but also this is going to be an absolutely insane piece of redstone contraptions. Also, because it can be pushed and pulled while lit. You can like do stuff with it where as it moves, you know, it changes, or maybe it doesn't as it moves around. I mean, this is just like, there's just so much with this type of redstone component that is new, that we really haven't seen all of the creations that can be made with the copper bulb, which that's not what this video is about. It's about all of the basics about the copper bulb. So if you want to get into that more detailed, like crazy redstone contraptions, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And that wraps it up for the copper bulb. I hope that you found something in this video useful. I hope that you use these in your world because they're pretty darn cool. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!